Here we go. So we are holding on Chaf Dalid Amid Aleph. Now, this is one of those sugyas that you got to get the whole picture. So for time 3 together, probably for many of you, we're up to time 6 or time 7. I don't even know what. We're going to start from Chaf Gimel Amid Beis, the top line. We're going to run through the whole Amid, and then we're going to get through into Chaf Dalid Amid Aleph. Umi Amar Abaye. Again, I don't know what time we're at, but hopefully by now, Rebel, even walking through the airport, you probably know what we're talking about. Umi Amar Abaye Ramir Chayish Lamisa B'Yudul Chayish. Does Abaye really hold that the reason why Ramir says the sukkah is possible because the animal is going to die, meaning he is Chayish Lamisa and Rav does not? Abbas Yisrael, a husband goes to Medina Zayam. The wife is allowed to continue eating truma with the chazaka that the husband is alive. What's the problem? For Amin and Allah, we ask the contradiction to this Mishnah. So whoever's keeping track, we have our Mishnah in Sukkah's Mishnah number 1. Rameir says we're worried the animal's going to die. Mishnah number 2 is the Bas Yisrael's allowed to keep it eating truma. Mishnah number 3 is the Stirah. Ramin and Allah. Where 5 lines down. He gives his wife a get 1 moment before I die. Asur lachol b'truma miyad. So Mishnah 3 and Mishnah 2 are contradictory. Does she have to stop eating truma right away because we're afraid the husband's going to die? Or is she allowed to keep it eating truma assuming the husband won't die? Ve'amar Abaye, and here's our Abaye. Loi kasha haramir deloy chayish lemisa Rav Yehuda de chayish lemisa. There is your kasha. Because Abaye by us said that Rameir is yes chayish lemisa, and Abaye in an answering up Stirah between Mishnah 2 and 3 says Rameir is not chayish lemisa. Tanya. This is case number 4. This is a brisa. 4 is going to bolster that which Abaye answered up 2 and 3. And therefore the kutim did not separate. Truma said Ma'israis. So what does he have to do? So we said the case was the Erev Shabbos doesn't have enough time to separate Trumas and Ma'israis. Rashi gives another case. Rashi says maybe he just doesn't have kalim, doesn't have any cups. How can he separate the Trumas and Ma'israis? He has no jugs, he has no cups. So what does he do? He says, Oymer Shnei Lugim Shani Osid Lahafresh. We're still in the middle of Chazar, don't worry. Still have time to eat some chicken. 2 Lugim that I'm going to separate in the future. Harein Truma. Asara, 10 are Ma'isarish. We pointed out yesterday, it's not really 10, it's really... You could yell on the computer also. It's not 10, what is it? 9.8. Because 100 minus 2 is 98. A tenth of 98 is 9.8. So it's not really 10, it's really 9.8. Okay. Asara Ma'aser Risha. Tesha Ma'aser Sheni. Umechal v'shaisa miyad divrei Rameir. So what does this show? Rameir allows you to do this. Why does Rameir allow you to do this? He's not chayish le. Well, here it's not misa. Jugs don't die. Jugs break. Here he's not chayish. The jug will break. So this is the same thing that Abaye answered up 2 and 3. Is this brisa Rav Yehuda Rav Yossi v'Shimon Oyster in the table Chaf Dalid Amud Aleph. So now we have a colossal 4-car pile-up Stirah brewing. We have our Mishnah in Sukkah that Rameir says the Sukkah is possible. We're afraid the animal's going to die. We have case 2 and 3 in which Abaye answered Rameir is not afraid it's going to die. And then we have case 4 that bolsters that Rameir says we're not afraid that the jug is going to break. So answer number 1, nice and simple, Epoch. Switch it up. What are we switching? So if you look back at Chav Gimel Amid Beis, 6 lines from the bottom, Abaye answered up the Stirah between 2 and 3, saying that Rameir is not Chayish. Rav Yehuda is yes Chayish. Switch those 2 names. Now Rameir is yes Chayish and Rav Yehuda is not Chayish. And now it fits very well with our Mishnah in Sukkah. What's still the problem? Which case is still an issue? Who remembers? No one? Anyone? Case 4, thank you. The case with the... No, Bas Yisrael is still good. Because again, let's speak it out. I know this is a complicated shtickle over here. It's a big picture, but we have to get it clear. Let's go one more time from the top. Case 1 is Sukkah. Sukkah, Rameir says, is puzzle if your animal is your wall. Why is it puzzle? We're afraid the animal's going to die. Case 2 and 3 is, do we suspect that your husband will drop dead, and can wife eat truma? Abayi answered up that Stirah that Rameir said we're not chayish, and Yehuda said we are chayish. Case 4 bolsters case 2 and 3, is buying wine from the kutim. That again, Rameir says you're allowed to do this, meaning we're not afraid that it's going to break. We're answering case 2 and 3 swap, which now means case 2 and 3 fits with the case of sukkah. But what's the problem? Now case 4 now is a kasha. Before case 4 proved case 2 and 3. But now if we switch case 2 and 3, beautiful. Now that fits with case 1. But now case 4 is out. So we have to get 4 cases lined up. Again, it's really 3 if you're doing the math properly. It's 1, the middle Stirah, and the case of the kutim. So answers the Gemarah, De Tanya, this should sound familiar. We're on Chav Dalet and Aleph, 3 lines down. We learned in a brayso. Which brayso? This is our original brayso back from Chav Gimel Amid Aleph. Also, the behema doifen l'saka, Rameir poisel, Rav Yehuda machshir. Period. So far, what have we answered up? Our case of sukkah with case 2 and 3 of the Bas Yisrael. What's the problem? Case number 4, the case of halokech yayin mi bein akutim. Are you allowed to do this or not, or are we afraid that the jug is going to break? Asks the Gemarah, kasha de Rameir adir Rameir. We have a Stirah in Rameir. Who else do we also have a Stirah in? Rabbi Yehuda. If it's a Stirah in Rameir, it's a Stirah in Rabbi Yehuda, which the Gemarah is going to get to in a moment. Asks the Gemarah, kasha de Rameir ad Rameir. So finally, after I don't know how many days of going into this Stirah, we finally get the chilek. We finally dive deep in to understand what really is the difference between the animal being a wall for your sukkah and the case of this jug of wine. Amar lecha Rameir, and many people aren't going to like this because they weren't so morbid when we learned this originally. Says Rameir, Misa shchicha, bekias hanod loy shchicha. It's common for someone to die. I'm going to amend that in a moment. And it's not common for a jug to break. Now, let's just keep on reading for a moment and you'll understand it a lot better. Why not? Because Efshir the Masay l'Shomer, meaning death is in the hands of God. Jugs breaking is theoretically in the hands of man. We could prevent a jug from breaking. Give it to a shomer. Let this watchman sit as a hawk watching over this barrel and making sure it doesn't break. But you could watch someone from today to tomorrow. He might die. There's nothing you can do about it. So one, says Rameir, Misa Shchicha doesn't mean Shchicha in percentage. He means Shchicha in the fact that it could happen and there's nothing you could do about it. Whereas Bikiyas Hanod, Loi Shchicha Efshir Demas Leil Shomer. So what does that mean? So now what that means is we have case 1, the sukkah. Case 2 and 3, the Bas Yisrael eating, we're saying is the same thing as sukkah. Why? Because animals dying and wives dying, don't tell this to your wife, is the same thing. Now, what does that mean? That's not very nice. What that means is that they're both the death, that there's nothing we can do about it. Case 4 is the odd man out. What's case 4? Case 4 is Bikiyas Hanod, the jug breaking, and that is something that you have no control over. That's how Rameir answers. What are we left with to tie it all up? Rav Yehuda. Kasha, Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda. Why? Let's speak it out again. Because Rav Yehuda says, you're not allowed to pull the shtick with the wine. Why are you not allowed to pull the shtick with the wine? Because we're assuming we're afraid the wine's going to break. Whereas Rav Yehuda by us said the sukkah is kosher. He's not afraid the animal's going to die. Kasha Rav Yehuda answers the Gemarah. Taima di Rav Yehuda. We're 10 lines down. Chav Dalet Amud Aleph. Lav mishom de chayish lebikiyas noid. The reason of Rav Yehuda is not because we're afraid the jug is going to break. Why does Rav Yehuda say you can't do this shtick with the wine? It's not because the jug might break. What's the reason? Elo mishom de les le breira. Rav Yehuda holds, he doesn't hold a breira. What's breira? We spoke about this yesterday. Breira is that you could say after something happens, retroactively, this is what it was. So Breira would say, I could drink a cup of wine now, and then tomorrow when I give a different cup to the Kayin, I could say, retroactively, in that jug, that part was the Kayin's and this part was mine. Rav Yehuda disagrees with the entire concept of Breira. Now, this reality, this answer, Rav Yehuda is loy chayish lebreira. The last lahu breira. Period. We now finally have sort of ran the entire journey from the beginning of Chav Gimel Amud Aleph all the way to Chav Dal Amud Aleph. We've tied up all loose ends. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go a little bit deeper within each shita. Because it's Thursday, we're going to go a drop further. V'lo chayish Rav Yehuda lebekiyas hanoit asks the Gemarah. Is Rav Yehuda really not chayish? We just answered Rav Yehuda. He doesn't worry the jug is going to break. What's he worried about? He says, I don't hold the breira. V'hamidiktani seifa, the end of that brisa, the brisa of buying the wine from the Kutim says that Amru loy l'Rameir. Rav Yehuda called up Rameir. Said, Rameir, you say you could drink this wine? Iyata maida, are you not worried? Do you not admit? Iyata maida, do you not admit? Shema yibaka hanoid. Are you not worried that the jug might break? V'nimsa zan, it's going to come out. Shoyset tfeilim l'mafreya. That it's going to come out that the guy is drinking Shoyset tfeilim tevel l'mafreya retroactively. Rav Yehuda calls out Rameir. Says Rameir, how are you allowing this guy to drink the wine on Shabbos? And after Shabbos, he'll do this shtick and give it to the Kohen in 1 second. Why are you not worried the jug is going to break? From Rav Yehuda's kasha to Rameir, what does it seem? That he himself is worried the jug is going to break. And he says to Rameir, why are you not worried? So the Gemarah just answered that he himself is not worried.
Maybe things should
very good. That's the answer. V'amar lahu, let's just spell it out. I know we're doing a lot of reading, but over Shabbos we'll iron out the whole shtickle. V'amar lahu, and Rameir responds, l'chsheyibaka, when it breaks. Till it breaks, I'm not worried. Michlal, what do we infer from here? Techayish Rav Yehuda lebekiyas hanoid. That Rav Yehuda is worried the jug is going to break. Answers the Gemarah in classical Gemarah sense. Hasam Rav Yehuda udika amar l'Rameir. Rav Yehuda was calling out Rameir. He says, me, l'didi, according to me, I have no problem. Leslie Breira, so don't even think about doing this shtick with the barrel, because I don't hold the breira. So nothing starts. According to you, Rabbi Meir, the Yesh breira. Are you not worried? Do you not admit? We're going to stop over here. And this is definitely one of those Gemaras that those that chazer will understand, and those that won't will have a very difficult time. Siyat Ishmaya, we will chazer over Shabbos. Now that it's a summer Shabbos, or Menachem, just because you're the Gabbai, we should find maybe a time in the afternoon to chazer, no? Maybe before Mincha? I don't know. We'll talk about it. I'm not putting you on the spot.